Welcome to PFT OT on Yahoo Sports. He's Peter King. I'm Mike Florio. And some of the big issues around the National Football League. The Dallas Cowboys at 5-3 coming out of their bye week. They have a big Sunday night game on NBC against the Minnesota Vikings. Peter, what is keeping the Cowboys from joining the NFL's elite teams? Or are they already there and their record just doesn't simply reflect it?
You know, Mike, I think consistency of play, I think that's the biggest thing. They've been sort of, playing in and out football. And I think Monday night against the Giants, one of the things that you saw is they really moved the ball very, very well up and down the field. But there are these patches of inconsistency and these turnovers. You know, Dak Prescott, first series of the game, throwing the interception to Antoine Bethea, losing the fumble later on. I think this is a team that I think all of us think has got a chance to play deep into January, but they just haven't been consistent enough, especially behind an in-and-out offensive line.
You know what? Earlier on Tuesday on the PFT Live show on NBCSN, you referred to the sloppiness of the Cowboys. And at some point, you got to ask, is the sloppiness a reflection of the coaching? And the questions still hover around Jason Garrett. No contract beyond this season. And I really do feel like his future hinges on not just getting the team to the playoffs, but being competitive when they get there. They haven't been to the NFC Championship since 1995. Do you really think, when we look at this crowded NFC field, does this strike you as a team that can navigate, presumably having to win at least one on the road in the divisional round to get to the NFC Championship game?
Mike, I think it's going to be really hard for them in this conference this year. They're not better than San Francisco. I don't think they're better than Seattle, but they're close. They're in the league. They're in a league with Seattle and the Rams and Minnesota and probably Green Bay, even though Green Bay beat them at home. And again, you look at New Orleans, and that's a really tough matchup for them too. So winning any of those games on the road against any of those teams, it's not impossible, but I just call it unlikely.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, they're going to have their hands full in that division with the Philadelphia Eagles. If they come on down the stretch, they have to play the Eagles again in Philadelphia later this year. You mentioned the Rams and the Vikings, two of the games that the Cowboys will be playing over the balance of the regular season. We're going to learn a lot about the Cowboys in the next several weeks. They have a tough game at New England. If they can go there and beat the Patriots, I think we view them differently down the stretch run. But it all comes down to January. And I think with each passing year, when they do get to the playoffs, the fact that it's been so long since they've been to the NFC Championship, that puts so much pressure on them in that divisional round, Peter. It's almost like the Bengals. Every year they got to the playoffs. Because it's been so long since they won a playoff game, it puts more pressure on them. It's a talking point. It's a focus of attention, and it's hard to get the players not to be distracted by it. And I think that'll be a challenge if they do get to the divisional round, forgetting that it has been 24 years since they've punched through and just focusing on that game.
Mike, I think there's one other thing to remember as you look at down the road for the Dallas Cowboys. Number one, I've always thought, nobody's ever told me this, but this is just my opinion from being around the team. I've always thought that one day Jerry Jones would have loved to hire Sean Payton as his head coach. Now that the Saints have re-upped with Sean Payton, that almost certainly is not going to be a possibility. Then who's the next guy in line? Maybe Lincoln Riley. I'm told that Lincoln Riley, at least for now, does not want to make that jump to the NFL. Who knows? Maybe Jones could be very persuasive if the Cowboys crash and burn this year. But it's only because I'm saying that everybody says get rid of Jason Garrett. Well, who is next? And my feeling is that two of the biggest candidates are probably not going to be on the market for Jerry Jones to go shopping with.
Some would say keep an eye on the local XFL coach, Bob Stoops of the Dallas Renegades, that he could parlay his short season. Or he may not even, who knows, he may not even be there by the time the XFL starts in February, because if Jerry Jones comes calling, he's going to say, see you later, XFL. We'll say see you later. For now, check out more PFT OT videos on Yahoo Sports.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.